Welcome to the Alcohol Free Life podcast, brought to you by thesoberclub.com. I'm Janey Grace. This is for you if you've quit the booze or you'd like to, or maybe you're just sober curious. I'll bring you tips and motivation without any judgment, and there'll be inspiration from experts, quit-lit authors, and sober heroes. Hi and welcome to the podcast. How you doing? I've had a slightly better week. My foot's healing a bit. I managed to get a Bowen treatment, which was just really helped massively. If you haven't heard of Bowen, you should look it up, Bowen. It really is great for any kind of when you need to be put back into alignment. You know, it's super helpful. Anyways, what do I want to share with you? I did a really nice piece with Revel 11. You might have seen that on advertised on Instagram. They're a team who do retreats and a whole load of wellbeing stuff in the States, and we did a piece, kind of an online session, which I'm sure is still available to watch. Check out Revel 11 on Instagram. We had a really good conversation. I think they were kind of encouraging their audience to do Sober October. So we had some really good chats about some of the basics, really, and how, you know, if you're doing Sober October, then just a reminder, you have to get the food part right. You really do. It's absolutely critical, you know, for your brain chemistry. And, you know, I think just sort of literally gritting your teeth for 4 weeks and then, you know, being desperate to drink again, it's not really going to do you any favours. But if you're focusing on what you're gaining, it changes everything. And if you're getting that good nutrition in as well, it makes a really, really big difference. So we had a really good chat. We also covered the whole tricky topic of moderation, and is it possible to be you know, a moderate drinker? Is it worth reducing? Is it, you know, all of those kind of questions. So if you get a chance, have a listen. And we've had a lot going on in the Sober Club as usual, and I've also started my online group coaching program this week, which was great. We were doing something I haven't done before with this community, using EFT, emotional freedom technique. So the course is called Tapping into Freedom, but it's not only EFT, although it's an amazing tool. We kind of introducing people to a whole load of great tips and techniques to just calm and soothe and be able to self-regulate, because ultimately that's it, isn't it? We've there are so many of us who we're on a mission, and we've got willpower and we've got the commitment, but then something pops up, something happens, and you find yourself straight back down that slippery slope, because it takes some time to really get those skills, to really step into your sober shoes and know what you can do when you're feeling really out of sorts and panicky and chaotic or anxious, which of course is a big one. And I do think there's just huge amounts of anxiety around at the moment, and fear. Again, we're back in that awful space. I mean, perhaps not quite as bad as the lockdown months, but there is that sense of fear and chaos around everything at the moment. We have to work really hard, I think, just keep our vibes high, rise above it all, try and turn off the news so you're not watching it the whole time. Anyways, we're going to talk more about that with my guest today, because I'm just really chuffed that my guest is Susan from Hola Sober. Well, she's not really a guest. We're just having a chat, really. It's not really an interview. Just before I go into that chat, just a reminder that when this little Tapping into Freedom program ends, I'm starting another online group coaching program, which is tapping into self-care and sobriety. So that's very much about those those extra deep dive techniques that we can use for sustainable sobriety, for the self-care piece, for finding your new identity, which is something I wrote about in this month's Hola Sober magazine. So it's obviously on my mind. I'm working with some clients who have ditched the booze. They've been sober for a while, but they're finding sometimes real life feels really quite hard to start with, because they've got to put the new clothing on, as it were. They've really got to step into this new role as to who they are, and it can feel a bit shaky when we've had years as, you know, the party guy or girl. It can feel very different, and we have to kind of get our own head around it first sometimes. So anyways, we're going to be doing a whole bunch of that. That course will start the first week of November. Actually, I think the first live group coaching session will be Wednesday the 9th. So if that's of interest, go to thesoberclub.com. You'll find the information there, or just drop me a message at Janey Grace. This is for you if you are new to it all if you're sober curious, but it's especially for you if you're already perhaps weeks, months, even years into sobriety, and now you want to really nail these self-care techniques, these tips, these tools, tapping, which is just amazing for so many different things. It'll be really beneficial for well-being generally, hopefully. So let me know if that's of interest, and there's a bunch of other resources that come with that course too. Anyways, without further ado, the new issue of Hola Sober magazine is out. It's just fabulous. It really is such a great magazine. It's free. Some of you may have heard my chat with Susan a couple of months ago, and how could I not get her back on? Us gals like to talk, right? So enjoy. Susan, how lovely to see you. Oh, it's so lovely to see you. Honestly, after our last chat, it just blew up, didn't it? It completely blew up. Everyone said, I love this woman. Can you get her back on?
But you know what? From my perspective, everybody loved our dynamic. Everybody loved our dynamic together, and hearing us chat and hearing the energy and the positivity about ourselves as women, and Sober Club and sobriety and community. That's what my people absolutely loved hearing. They truly did.
We love your mag, and the latest edition is out. And one of my Sober Club members said to me, oh, I read it all and I heard it in Susan's voice. Isn't that cool?
I love that. I love that. You know what? Susan and surround sound. That's cool. Thank you for that.
Brilliant. So we'll talk about the latest issue of the mag, obviously, and what's coming up. But I thought it'd just be nice just to chat. You know, it's not really an interview; it's just to chat. And you might want to start by just sharing what's been going on with you, because it's not been uneventful, has it? Shall we put it that way?
No, never a dull moment in my life at the best of the times. I'm a girl who can't even just get on a bus. I nearly get killed getting on the bus. And I haven't been very well over the last couple of weeks, and I needed surgical intervention quite quickly. And I needed to have major cardiovascular surgery last week. And I ended up spending 30 hours in ICU, Janey, which, if you ever need a leveler in life as to what matters, where your focus should be, who you love and who you care for, believe me, you're wheeled out of 30 hours of ICU, and your life is in
you
the
really know. Yeah.
Right.
God.
And I would think that the only reason I'm here to chat to you is because I don't drink. And I think that because I have 4 years of not drinking sobriety in January, and I gave up smoking because I did smoke. I gave up smoking 5 months ago. I think the combination of not putting toxins into my body saved my cardiovascular system. That and an amazing team of surgeons led by Dr. Jose, who I'm hugely grateful for, who in fairness is divine and you'd want to be sick. But I shouldn't say that. But the truth is that has been a real challenge. But you know what? I sit before you now and I am as sharply focused as ever. I'm a bit battered and broken and bruised, to be honest. And jammies have been the wardrobe over the last
not surprised.
But you know what? In these moments when you find yourself being reflective, what I became hugely grateful for truly was my decision to go against the grain and deal with the fact that I was over drinking.
Absolutely.
When I did it, right? I was so grateful lying there. Truly, I was.
Yeah.
And all these thoughts come into your head, and I think that the joy of being a sober woman in 2022 for you and I is that we have so many resources available to us, right?
Yeah.
And we now can be part of this really cool girl squad, right? And we can lean into our girl squad, the Sober Club, Hola Sober readers, all together, right? And talk all things health, wellness, goodness. And that is good for the soul. Do you know what I'm
really
saying?
is.
In a toxic world, Janey, we're positive people.
Yeah, we are. But not only that, what you just touched on there is, health stuff, nothing's more important than your health. It really isn't. And all the years we're drinking, I genuinely believe we're in denial. We're literally in denial, and there'll be loads of people and loads of women as well, because women have heart issues, right? Yes. Who are going to be ending up in a situation that they're not going to recover from, because they are still drinking.
And the terrible thing is, not only are we in denial, right? But every pain and ache we get, Janey, we go, oh, well, that's because I'm hungover, right?
Yeah.
And we don't go seek medical intervention at the right time. In fact, I would suspect, and there's no stats to prove this coming from my head, I would suspect 90% of women of our generation go to the doctor with depression as opposed to
absolutely,
I have a
or
pain
menopausal
in my
symptoms,
chest going up over my shoulder. Like I didn't suddenly end up on a surgical table last Monday. Okay, so therefore, this has been an ischemia, which is basically the arteries were completely blocked. And I had chronic ischemia of the mesenteric, which feeds the digestive system, which means every time I ate, I became unwell, filled with nausea. Not pleasant.
So they probably put it down to something else when actually it's something more serious, as it were.
That's it. It's very, in fact, as only a surgeon humor will tell you something like this. You know, they said, you're really lucky. You were winning when we diagnosed you. We only normally find this out when somebody's dead in autopsy.
Oh, great.
Right?
God.
But here's the thing.
Seriously.
Women are really good at commandeering their kids, their husbands to the doctor for a pain and an ache. We're drinking our heads off in a kitchen, right?
Yeah.
We're putting everything down to that bottle. When the truth of the matter is that can be masking sinister things going on in our bodies that we're not seeking help for, right?
Yeah.
And then the other ironic thing is we come out of it, right? And we're all about the spiritual, the mental, the mind. But you know what? My body took a serious battering over a decade and a half, right? And I woke up one day, put down a glass and thought, no, I'm good. That's when you wrote about self-care, right? In the magazine this month. That's where this piece is so important.
Yeah.
We need to recalibrate the physical body.
I absolutely agree. Absolutely agree. I did the most lovely meditation the other day with a group that I'm part of, where we focused on, you know how we always talk about the wheel of life, you know, a lot of people do that, don't they? We talk about, I sometimes do it with groups, and we'll look at what's important to us, you know, on all the different aspects of our life, and is that wheel flowing? For most people it isn't. It's really bumpy, right? Because we haven't got certain things, you know, rolling, and that's understandable. We can't all have everything perfect in the various aspects of our life, so we talk about the wheel of life. But this meditation was all about visualizing the kind of the four parts of us, if you like, the mental, the physical, the spiritual, the emotional, and looking at how that's rolling. And it's really interesting because we spend a lot of time, most of us, in that mental bit. Okay, and we spend a huge amount of time in the emotional bit. Absolutely. I mean, probably the majority of the time is in the emotional bit. Oh, I'm feeling this, I'm feeling that. And of course we have to notice our feelings, they're important, but you know, it's the feelings that then go, oh, I'm feeling really crap, therefore I'll reach for wine or sugar or whatever the hell else. So we're in that emotional state a huge amount of the time. Sometimes we dip into the mental state and we try and rationalize it all. But we don't spend enough time in the spiritual realm, where we actually just sometimes breathe or ask for help. And we definitely don't spend enough time in the physical, in the sense of actually honoring ourselves and recognizing how important the body is. And they're all connected. And I love that kind of concept that we need, you know, we can literally use our mind to affect our body, and the other way around. It will have an effect. Absolutely. You know, and you know, our thoughts affect our body, and what's going in our body can affect our mind. But we have to be able to take care of it and be aware of it. And if you've got no idea how the hell it even works, because you haven't noticed anything about it in years, it's a bit, I'll shut up in a minute, I'll let you get a word in, but it's a little bit like the emotional thing, isn't it? Sometimes I challenge clients when they say things like, oh, I'm an anxious person. Oh, I'm always weak. Or they'll come out with these phrases. No, hold on a minute. That's not who you are. It's how you're feeling right now.
Exactly.
And I think we do the same with our body. So, oh, I have pains. Yeah. Oh, I don't sleep. Oh, I eat too much. As if that's set in stone.
Absolutely. And we become often a self-fulfilling prophecy. I'm an anxious person. Therefore, suddenly somebody's like on anxiety all of the time and seeking medicine and escape down the neck of a bottle. And we say, I have a bad back. That's just my thing.
Yeah.
You know, my shoulder's always giving me trouble. Well, sweetheart, stop getting drunk every night and go seek help for the physical frame and body. I mean, here's the thing, what I learned last week and over the last few weeks. The spiritual is so very important. The mind is a powerful, the most amazing tool that we have, I think, within our repertoire. Okay.
Yeah.
But I also need to take care of the physical framework.
We do.
This car, this engine that I drive every day.
Yeah.
I need to be sure that the food I put in
exactly
is right food. Okay, so it goes all the way back, right? It comes back to that thing, doesn't it? Sort of like food, water, food for the soul. I need good food. I need water. I need to nourish myself. Yeah. All of these acts are actually conscious. They're conscious.
Yeah.
And too many women sit there and they kind of wait for the guru to come. You know, the guru's going to come and sort of advise them that maybe they should, you know, take up yoga or do meditation or do the other. I believe, for me anyway, Janey, in early sobriety, I needed to make conscious decisions.
Absolutely.
Because for a decade and a half, I didn't give a shite.
No, exactly. We can't take care of ourselves when we're drinking. We just can't do it. And we find it hard even when we're not. And you're so right. I had a client the other day. I'm sure she won't mind me sharing the story. I won't name her name, obviously, but it was so interesting because she's been doing super well. She's stopped the booze. She's really been feeling so much better. And then suddenly she hit some kind of emotional blip and was absolutely in a mess, you know, felt so wobbly, so upset, just everything felt awful. She wasn't tempted to drink, so that's good, but everything else, you know, there are many people who would be, and just everything was, she was literally like a kind of emotional wreck. And when we had a conversation, my first bit of advice to her was go and treat yourself to some really good food.
Yes.
Okay, because it turned out she'd had a coffee and a snack bar or something. So number one, go and treat yourself to some really nice food, savor it, every bit of it, you know, and then we'll get into some other self-care stuff. And then when I spoke to her a few days later, she was feeling so much better. I was so proud of her because she was able to notice that she said, when I thought back, I had stopped eating properly. Yes. I hadn't bothered to book the hair appointment that I knew would make me feel better. I hadn't, you know, slept or whatever it was. When we can properly notice, there's usually, as you say, a lead up to it. This doesn't happen overnight. Nothing does.
No, it
and
doesn't.
when we can properly notice, if we're not doing the basics, exactly as you said, you've got this beautiful car, beautiful sports car or whatever the hell, you know, but it ain't going to run, is it, if you don't put the fuel in it?
Quite frankly, I'm an naughty TT. I'm a naughty TT, darling, right? And the engine was in flight. And I'm drinking. I had no notion that the wheels were coming off to fucking naughty TT, right?
Yeah.
And the thing about that woman that you're saying, isn't that it? That's the core of it, right? You said, go eat something, get some beautiful food. It's almost like we need to nourish our body.
We really do.
Food and music and poetry and reading and gardening and cooking and all of those gorgeous things and vitamins and minerals and self-care in a conscious way. So for me, my greatest form of self-care leading up to all of this and post this is I am the queen of routine and ritual in the morning. Okay.
Remind us what you do again, because we spoke about this before. I loved it.
Because I absolutely believe that it is the thing that saves me and sets my intention for the day. Okay. So I go all Scandinavian. There you go. The Irish woman goes Scandinavian.
Oh, what, you do the higgy thing? You do the higgy thing.
It's about putting your feet on the ground.
Oh, grounding.
On the ground.
Outside, we need to be on the earth, right?
That's it. So I get out of bed, feet on the ground, claim my space in Mother Earth, open the window to let the air in, breathe in the air, okay? And then I go about lighting my candles. And I light 3 candles and I say, not today, lady, not today. And I say my Hola Sober pledge, which I wrote for myself, which is my pledge to the universe, saying I'm showing up for myself, right? And I light a candle for everybody who was where you and I sat in active addiction. And I asked the universe to lead them out, can you just take them out? I light a candle calling on my ancestors to lead me for the rest of the day. I believe in this power-broking belt of women behind me, that my 4 mothers and 4 grandmothers, they're strong, incredible women. I need their help. So I call on my ancestors to hold me strong, to lead me through the day. And then I light a candle for families caring for people in active addiction, because that's a bloody hard road.
It really is.
Every woman who's in sobriety. And of late, I've gone all sort of then, and I'm including men in the last candle.
Good for you.
Yes, because I think that, I am all about women. But I believe that active addiction destroys families. And I think that when we come out of our kitchens and we put down our glass and we begin to reconfigure our life, and we begin to, as you so rightly said in the magazine, when I read it, I went, pow, it's like one of those boom moments. We don't know who the bloody hell we are.
I wrote about trying to find your new identity. Yeah, it's a thing for sure.
Who's Janey? Who was
I know. We feel so
now.
wobbly.
Yes. Well, we look back now. I look back now and I go, how the bloody hell did I function every day? Hungover, dehydrated, incomplete denial, right? Yeah. When we come out of that, that's why I believe in routine and ritual and conscious scheduling, whatever way you say the word, of self-care into our life as part of my sober program. So as part of my sober program, self-care is in there, okay? Self-care can be one of the favorite apps, the one that used to make my husband go, Jesus Christ, he used to quake. I had one of the apps at the beginning that showed you how much money you were saving, right? So at 50 days, you'd save X amount, and 100 days, and at 50 days and 100 days, I would buy myself a sober treat. 200 days. So like, I went all out, because I would stand there and I'd go, well, I've just saved, 1,000 euros. So I'm off to buy wheels for the Audi TT. And my husband said to me when we got to 1 year, he said to me, do we now go back to 1? Because I've been going, I'm spending 300, I'm spending 2,000. So I had one of those apps, right, that told me you saved 7 grand, 10 grand. And I loved that, quite frankly. That was me, because then I was able to go and self-care and sober treat myself. I bought jewelry, I bought spa days, I got, hair treatments done, and I scheduled them into my life as part of my sober self-care. Because I believe, and I'm sure you see it all the time in your work, we pick people who fall down and relapse have done that 1,000 million micro decisions before that moment.
Exactly. Nobody trips over the actual bottle in the street, do they?
No, they don't find themselves in Tesco's going, oh, here I go. Okay. So it's because lack of self-care. It's lack of self-care, and self-care is not self-development.
Exactly. And it's not selfish.
No, it's not, said a woman who has a shopping cart filled with about 19 things in it in self-care this month. And one of the things,
but maybe that's a cross addiction. That's different. That's shopping.
No, but you see, I feel genuinely that when we begin to save our lives, and when we begin to, because that's what's happening. Like, let's call a spade here. You and I realized nobody is coming, and we decided we better save our own life here and stop killing ourselves with alcohol.
Exactly.
And we began to listen to our bodies. We began to listen to our minds and our souls and our spirit. And we began to act in a proactive way to save ourselves. And that requires good food, self-care, sober treats in my book, routine and ritual. All of it, Janey. We need all of it.
We do. Just to pick up on something you were saying there, I know we touched on this before, but I love the fact that you include in your ritual the ancestors thing. And I've told you a bit about my work with family constellations. I've got one, I'm doing a workshop actually in November the 6th. So really looking forward to that. It's amazing work. But something I saw recently, I can't remember where I saw it. I've got to find it again. Somebody created a meme. I wish it was me. It's the sort of thing that I wish I'd create. It's like your mag. If I had any more time. But there was the most fantastic meme that showed an image of like a family tree, like when you see the image of sort of one person at the front, and then there's two, and then there's two behind, and there's two behind them, and on and on and on. And the meme said something like, if you're reading this, it's highly likely that you're the person who's come to break the cycle.
Oh, wow.
And I thought, wow, you couldn't sum up family constellations better than that, right? You're there, you're at the front. You've broken the cycle. You've quit with the, enough of the blocks, enough of the shit that's been passed down the lines, enough of the cellular memory. You're going to break it for good, right? How amazing is that? What a fabulous thing. So that in that moment when you're lighting that candle, I'm going to find it. I'm going to find it. I credit the person.
Yes, we need to. Them, but here's the thing. Yesterday I heard Gabor Mate interviewed yesterday, and he spoke about the fact that there's no addiction gene. Scientifically, there's no addiction gene. He talked about generational trauma. So what that
exactly
means,
that's exactly what I'm saying. I'm not saying that genetics in terms of illness in inverted commas. I'm absolutely talking about trauma and stories that are passed down. Carry on.
And he basically, that's what he was saying, that it is not an addictive gene in the faulty gene.
Exactly.
And that's in the recovery industry's multi-billion-dollar industry's interest to keep supporting.
Of course it is. Of course it is. Allegedly, you can still be an alcoholic when you've been sober for 35 years. I don't think so.
No, I don't think. I know so.
I think I'm free.
So he was talking about actually what's passed down is exactly due. It's trauma.
Exactly.
Stories.
Exactly.
Right?
And some of it's held in cellular memory. What's really interesting, and I'm sure I may have even said this last time, is when I did a family constellation not long ago where there was where alcohol was absolutely featured in the picture. I forget how, the issue holder's mother, I think. And we actually brought someone into the constellation to represent alcohol. It's the most powerful thing, particularly in that instance. The person didn't know who or what they were representing, but they're just the energy in that space. It's fascinating stuff. Anyway, let's not go off on a tangent. We'll be there forever. But back to your ritual.
And my ancestors.
And your ancestors. I love that you make that part of your ritual, and I'm going to start thinking about that, because I haven't done that. What I do find really important is, and what I try and encourage everyone to do, is to make sure that they don't switch their phone on when they first wake up, right?
I agree.
Definitely do not go outside, in inverted commas, before you go inside.
Right? I agree.
Because we've all done it. We've all done that thing where the alarm goes off, you wake up, particularly if you've got your goddamn phone as your alarm, you wake up, you're straight onto social media or into the, what kind of fresh hell is in the news, right? And you're straight into it, and it's so debilitating. And particularly if you've got your own stress going on as well, it all just mixes into one horrible cauldron of horribleness.
It's toxic, right? So
totally toxic.
We're in a world right now that is highly toxic.
Absolutely.
The news cycle is highly toxic. So therefore, we actually, in an act of self-care, and that's where it begins, it's self-care. We need to protect ourselves, as you rightly say, not go outside when we wake.
Exactly.
Inside
first, and set intentions. And even if you wake up feeling a little bit wobbly or nervous or whatever, you've got nothing to lose by setting your intention for the day. And I sometimes say to people, practice, like I literally try and smile. So you might be sort of sitting there in bed, thinking, this is the last bloody thing I want to do. But literally just the action of forcing your muscles into a smile, it does something to you. Everyone's seen Eat, Pray, Love, haven't you? Have you seen Eat, Pray, Love? What does the medicine man say? Smile with your liver.
Absolutely. But you know what, you're sitting there, saying, you tell people to smile. Okay. So here's the point, and I'm smiling back here too. But the point is there's something going on.
Something goes on. Yeah. It's the muscle memory. The act of smiling makes us go, oh, okay, well, at least I'm alive.
That's
right?
it. And the other point is, we all know that lovely feeling walking down the street in the middle of a shite day or getting on the metro and somebody just randomly smiles at us.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right?
You can't beat that, can you? That power of a smile.
That moment of humanity whereby something inside your soul just relights and reignites. So therefore, in a toxic world, and it is a bloody toxic world, we need to go inside in the early morning routine and rituals that I have, that I love women to have as well. Because what it actually is it's actually about pause. It's actually about letting the body sort of almost break into the day, as opposed to alarm, phone, check messages, social media, another bomb, politics, but Jesus wept on a bicycle. You know, the head wants to explode and we haven't even had toast.
Absolutely. And I think, you know, I'm sure we said this before too, but I think when it comes to this, the kind of spiritual piece, there are so many different ways to do this meditation in inverted commas piece. You know, what kept me stuck for so many goddamn years, well, apart from the fact that I was drinking, was the fact that I couldn't do 20 minutes sitting still. Of course, I bloody couldn't. You know, I had way too much going on, too much in my mind, you know, la-di-da. And I know that meditation teachers will be shouting at this, saying, if you can't find time to do 20 minutes, do an hour. I know that's their thing. I know that's what they say. But we have to start where we are. We have to. And what I needed to do when I first stopped drinking, because while I was drinking, I couldn't do it at all. Just had to accept that, because I didn't like myself very much. And I didn't feel very authentic sitting there trying to pretend that I was being spiritual, because I really did not like that at all.
I didn't like anyone, let alone myself.
Yeah, exactly. But what I needed to do was start where I was. And for me, that meant somebody suggested to me, set your phone timer for 5 minutes. Can you do 5 minutes? Well, of course I can do 5 minutes. Yeah. Okay, start with that. That's it. That's it. When you start with that's all you need to do. And you don't even need to be silent. Have an audio thing on if you want to, or go for a walk if you want to. One of my friends, her meditation is horse riding.
Yes,
that's her meditation.
Yeah, exactly. Mine is walking. I'm a walker, right? Yeah. And one of the things I embrace about modern recovery and having no labels, as I always say, I don't have any label. My name is Susan and I'm fabulous. I don't drink,
absolutely.
Right? Because I wasn't fabulous when I was drinking. But I'm not a meditation girl, okay? Not in any world could I be a meditation girl. But I meditate when I'm walking. So it's a weird meditation, right? So I'm walking and moving. It's about nature for me.
Yeah, it's an active meditation. Absolutely.
Trees. Yeah, I'm a girl who loves a tree. I don't have an issue in the world if anybody sees me hugging a tree.
Yeah. Oh, did you hear? I've got this lovely piece. If I'll write a piece for your mag. There's this wonderful author that I'm interviewing, Cheryl, who's written a book called Tree Glee, which is all about how trees heal us. I'll send you the info. Yeah, it's so beautiful, and it's all about trees. And when I found out about the book, it's just coming out real soon. I had I'll
put that in the mag. I'll make that a book of the
definitely. Month. I'll send you the info. But when I first found out about this book, I've interviewed Cheryl before, but I found out about this book, and it was literally the day after I'd been on a retreat where we'd done a kind of an autumn letting go thing in nature, and there's always part of me when I do those kind of things. I'm sure I've said before that I went on a retreat once and there was a forest bathing session on the itinerary. It was forest. You have to try
it. You're bathing in the forest.
No, you don't get your kit off or anything. You just take in the enjoyment of the trees. I knew what forest bathing was. I knew that it was about connecting with nature. I knew that. But on the itinerary for the retreat, it said something like meet in the whatever glade at 1 p.m. and it said finish 5 p.m. And I'm thinking, I mean, come on, I like trees, but
not that much.
4 hours. But in actual fact, it was, oh my God, I actually can't tell you what I did because I can't remember. I just know that I was fully absorbed in it, fully absorbred. And yes, there was definitely some talking to trees, definitely.
Oh yeah, I'm a tree
and absolutely getting some answers back. I can 100% assure you of that.
Many times I'd like to come out here now on your podcast.
Yeah. You
answer me regularly.
You need to do a forest bathing session, sweetheart.
I
You'd love it.
do. I honestly, and one of the things as you were talking there that was coming to my mind was, and I think one of the reasons why I love to go walking, and I love because I'm an active person like you are, always on the go, and I like to walk, and that's my meditation. And I always say to the ladies, and I've written about it in the past, that in modern sobriety there are no rules, sweetheart. Right?
Exactly.
You don't meditate. Don't get hung up on that. That's not a failure. You kick off from here, whatever here is, like you doing your 5 minutes, right? And for me, it's walking and nature. And as you were talking, this image just came into my head, and it must be the ancestors. But genuinely, it was my dad, because he was in a hospice. He died 8 years ago, but he was in a hospice at home in Limerick. And it's a gorgeous one with gardens, right? And literally the last photograph of him with us, if you like, in his senses, was in the gardens, because they believe in nature on the journey home.
Fantastic. Yeah.
Right?
How lovely.
Yes. And there's the picture of him, and he's actually, the sun is on his face, and there's roses around him. And it's something that always sticks with me, that the simplicity of nature is so powerful that he would have smelt the roses. Do you know what I'm saying?
Totally.
The aroma would have been reaching.
Lovely.
And as you're talking about forest bathing, which quite frankly, as I say, I really did think you were getting your kit off. So I'm really glad to know that you weren't. And I will do it, because I probably am doing it. And this is another
Yeah, of course. You're probably doing it anyway.
For you and I, Anglo-Irish, right? The first time I heard the Americans speak about modern recovery, I was like, they're speaking a language I don't understand. Because everything was all this vocabulary that I didn't understand. As far as I was concerned, I gave up alcohol. That was it, right? And I was reacquainting myself with myself. So forest bathing is the most gorgeous expression, but I suspect we're all doing it when we're out there
exactly,
immersed in the trees or the
exactly that.
I said to you the other day, one of my self-care acts is, two of my favorite self-care acts are the garden. So I love to garden, Janey. I mean, it's not that I'm not Alan Titchmarsh, like, let's slow down here, but I do love, in sobriety, it is new. I've always liked gardening, but as a sober woman, I love to go to the garden centre. I love to pick out flowers. I love to plant them. I love to see them. I love to cut flowers, put them on the kitchen table, you know, that kind of stuff. I wouldn't have given a shite about that while drinking. I'd have bought the bouquet outside. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The garden would have looked nice and smart, but it wouldn't have been tended with loving care. Whereas this year, my husband and I, and we do live in Madrid, so I suppose it's easier than doing it in Ireland, but we grew tomatoes. Right?
Oh, wow. Fantastic.
Well, can I tell you? I told everyone I knew. The photographs. Here is the plant. It is.
I bet they tasted completely different to the stuff you buy in the supermarket, right?
It was gorgeous, and what for me was, it was misshapen. You know, it wasn't the perfect circle. All of that, you know. But for me, what it was it was a very early Saturday morning in the garden centre when I bought those seeds. I would not have been in that garden centre 4 years ago. I'd have been dehydrated and feeling shite.
Yeah.
Whereas I was in a garden centre, I picked out the tomato, and I said to my husband, we'd give it a go. And we did. And he's a fabulous gardener. He's amazing. But it was just the whole, it was the nature of planting, watching it grow, nurturing it, watering it, minding it. It was a bit like my early sobriety, you know, minding it, protecting it, self-caring it. And then the night we actually had a tomato salad. I had my son in Paris on FaceTime. We're having a tomato, you know, and it was joyful. It was joyful. And that tomato salad was just, as I say, to me, it was an early Saturday morning that I wouldn't have had while I was drinking, Janey. And all of those things are, for me, self-care. For me.
That's right. So let's just finish with a top tip then. I mean, I suppose the top line is, we highly recommend self-care, and we highly recommend remembering some of the basics, like we do need to sleep well, and we do need to get our health and well-being checked out, and we do need good nutrition and the right supplements and vitamins, and, you know, maybe not everything at once, but we just have to have enough of that self-esteem to know, okay, we're worth it. Let's start putting some of these pieces in place. Let's start, you know, literally literally taking care of ourselves. It sounds so ridiculous when you say it, because it should be so basic and obvious, but it so isn't.
But
I don't think I'd booked a dental appointment for about 6 years when I was drinking.
No, and neither did I. And I didn't care to either. Do you know what I mean? Alcohol erodes our teeth.
Yeah, exactly. I didn't want to be asked about that.
I didn't want to have.
No, I love it. You tick that little box. How much do you drink? That'll be a no.
And the funny thing is when, and I'm sure you find it at the Sober Club, what's really good in these moments is community and the herd mentality can drive us to consciously make good decisions.
Yeah.
We can learn from each other. So therefore, if Mary in the club is doing gardening, or if Mary is taking magnesium as which was one of your things in the magazine this month, which is so important, as we know, and therefore all the different Marys suggesting different things that can be done, that's also a way to keep us mobilized and going in the right direction.
Exactly. Because there's always something that works for us. I think, often we get stuck in this thing of, I don't like, I could easily say at this point, oh, okay, well, I don't like gardening, because I don't. That's just the reality.
Yes.
So that's not for me. But you know what? There'll be something else.
That's the point. I like gardening. You may like cooking. You may, well, listen, we know you like bathing in forest with your clothes on, just for the record. So therefore, that's the magic of modern recovery.
Exactly.
Anything goes. And that's, we as women need to come into this space and, drop with what we can and we can't do, and what we shouldn't. And
and your lovely expression, getting lifey.
Life gets lifey, and you know what?
So we have to be and that's when life gets lifey, that's when we need to be able to draw on those resources of self-care, right? Because everything, it isn't always roses. It really isn't. There's a lot of Sober Club members at the moment got a lot of shit going down, and the temptation can be, oh well, I'm 50 days sober and now I'm feeling like X. Well, yeah, how shit did you feel before you got sober? We will still have days that aren't great, but it's not because you're sober.
But that's the mistake people make, Janey.
I know.
I've given it up, and they look at you.
So why isn't everything perfect?
That's it. Why don't I look 10 years younger? Why is my hair not perfect? And why is my husband still a bit of a jerk? And the truth of the matter is that sobriety empowers us to deal with life when it gets lifey. And that's for me where routines, rituals, and sober self-care being scheduled into my day every single day. On the good days, on the great days, on the terrible days. Because I've learned in almost 4 years, when the curveballs come, which they do, I'm ready for it. It's fine. Alcohol never enters the framework of my life. Never.
And that lovely expression by Susan Jeffers, whatever it is, I'll handle it.
That's it. Whatever it is,
I'll handle it. I never used to be able to say that before, right?
No, and
I didn't feel as I could handle anything when I was drinking, because I couldn't.
Well, we couldn't, but the worst part was, part of the burden for me, and I'm sure for you and all your ladies at Sober Club, is that the burden was increased by the fact we were pretending and trying to look like we were handling it all, right?
Yeah.
So getting up every day and, putting our best foot forward, dehydrated, hungover, waking at 3 a.m., not taking care of ourselves, but going in there smiling, doing the song and dance routine, the burden of that, the exhaustion. And I don't know, but I've said to my one of my sons before, the day I went into online sober school is the day I think I was most exhausted in my life. I was exhausted from being.
Well, we have to hit a point, don't we, where, what's that expression? The pain of carrying on as you are is worse than the pain of making a change, or whatever it is.
Yeah, I was knackered. I was knackered.
But we do not have to wait till we're at rock bottom before we make this choice to live a better life, do we?
That's the point I would love us to be able to successfully get across over the next couple of years. I would love the magazine. I would love you. I'd love podcasts, Sober Club, all of us, to get across the message that, guess what? We don't need the roof to blow off for us to actually reevaluate our relationship. The roof didn't blow off my life. It didn't blow off yours. We were just knackered and exhausted and killing ourselves in plain sight in the kitchen. But the truth is, we need to stop with the bullshit of
trying to pretend that alcohol is the answer and that alcohol is glamorous.
When we know, you and I and everybody who's in this space, we've learned that not only is alcohol a dangerous toxin, not only does it increase our depression, our anxiety, and is an absolute shit show in conjunction with hormones, it actually, as I can live here and sit and breathe, say that it is actually destroying the internal mechanisms of our bodies with every glass of wine that we're taking, and every tequila and every brandy. So my inner workings were being shot to hell every time I poured another drink, and I was blind to that fact. And I think it's a miracle, and I'm only here because I don't drink, because I was sober enough and not hungover to seek intervention and say to a doctor, I don't feel very well. So all of those things are part of why it's so important that we don't sort of, if you like, dilute the danger.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's not dilute it, Janey.
Well, I'm so glad that you're well, and you look fantastic, and
thank you.
On the mend. Well done, you. We haven't mentioned the mag. Just tell us a few things that are in the latest edition.
I'm so excited about this one because this was a miracle to get it out on deadline.
Yeah, bless you.
Quite frankly. And I'm really excited about it. You have a wonderful piece. I also have, there's some amazing things in there, some amazing sober women in the space. There is a woman in there, Dot is her name, from Kathleen McCullough, a fabulous photographer in the USA. And Kathleen met Dot in a river, and she's 94 and she's naked swimming, and it's just,
oh yeah, I love those pictures.
It's just joyful. It's a 94-year-old woman with all life creases, everything. There's something so powerful
I love
about those images that I chose to actually give them a page each. I said, I'm not going to stick the four of these, sandwich them into one page. This woman deserves to be in it, and she's in a magazine, and so excited.
How wonderful.
And there's obviously wonderful articles from Anne Darcy Johnson, who talks about the frog pound. Peggy Cooney is in there. And there's a really, really good piece as well from Beth, who's from the north of England, who does a lot of our social media, does all of the social media for me. And she has written about the cup of tea, the humble cup of tea. But I think that it's a really lovely piece.
Great.
And as always, there's gorgeous. I went a bit mad on the kitchen and the tablecloth.
The recipes, you got some nice recipes. Oh, and you got some nice, kitchen porn. Yeah, I love that.
I do.
And your bathroom porn.
I do. I feel that for me, as you know, living sober is living a full and healthy and fabulous life. And the magazine is an homage to that. And so therefore there is the kitchen recipes, the table style, there is fashion and beauty, there is wonderful articles and words of inspiration and motivation. And I think the combination is fabulous. And as always, I have the one man, and it's Brian O'Connell, and he is an amazing, fabulous, gorgeous Irish journalist. He's on.
Yeah, you're going to introduce me to him, aren't you?
Yes, I am. I'm actually going to introduce you by name today. And he is on Irish Radio every day, and he's a brave and gorgeous piece in there. And it's great to have him in there. And it's great to have people like that standing tall and saying, this is it. And when you read his piece, his thing is running.
Yeah.
He runs every day, right? Yeah. So he doesn't do 12-step program, he runs every day. That's his thing. And there's people in his life who are sober. And I think Hola Sober as a magazine is bringing that coalition of voices, and it's colorful. And I'm really proud of it this month. I think it's terrific.
Good for you.
And the gorgeous,
amazing.
Just one article, I do want people, because it is Halloween. Rose, who's also from England, who is a witch, a qualified witch, and she writes a piece about that. And because it's Halloween, I said, Rose, you need to write me something. And I love Rose to bits. She's got over 2 decades of sobriety, and she's just an absolute rock star, like strong, no nonsense woman. And I love her to bits, and I love the voice she brings to her piece. So I think it's a super issue, Janey.
Brilliant. Thank you so much. We'll put the link again in the show notes. It's so lovely to chat to you, Susan. We'll have to do it again soon, because clearly we can gas for England, right?
Absolutely. And darling. And
Alan. Sorry. Freudian slip there.
Fine.
And Spain.
I'm no Irish gassing.
Oh, anyway, it's really lovely to chat to you. I'm really glad you're feeling better. And well done on the mag. It looks so beautiful. I absolutely love it. It's just an absolute joy. It really is.
Thank you. I'm so honored to have you with me on the journey and being in the magazine. Fabulous. Truly, your piece this month again is outstanding. And I'm really grateful for you, Janey.
Lovely to chat to you. See you next time.
Take care.
Thank you, Susan. Another reminder then to go check out the new issue, the October issue of Hola Sober magazine. In that chat there, we mentioned family constellations, and on November the 6th, Sunday, November the 6th, I'm hosting a family constellations workshop. I work with a leading trauma expert, and it's a really life-changing day. Whether you do an issue or whether you're someone who takes part and represents, or whether you just observe, it's just so powerful. It really helps you kind of have such an understanding of placement. It sounds like a very odd word, doesn't it? But where we're placed in the family system. And it just helps us go away feeling much more compassionate and open. And it's been described as a spa day for the soul. So check it out if you're interested. Go to thesoberclub.com. Again, you can just drop me a message. It's Family Constellations. It's in Hertfordshire. So you can get the train from London. It's about 25 minutes from Euston, or it's close to junction 20 on the M25, so it's not too far out of London. It's fairly easy transport links. So it's Sunday, 6th of November. I'd absolutely love you to experience this work if you're in the UK and you get a chance. And we will do an online session as well at some point for people who can't make it to that event. But if you can come in person, obviously, it makes a huge difference. So do check that out. I've also got a self-care and sobriety retreat at Champneys coming up. Champneys at Henlow in Hertfordshire. That's on November 13th and 14th. So if that's of interest, go to the Sober Club as well. All the info is there. I really hope you are feeling inspired and ready to get going again on whatever behaviour change you want to make. Perhaps it's something else for you. Perhaps you ditched the booze a long time ago and now you really want to focus on something else and scale up a bit, level up a bit. And absolutely all the same principles can be used, actually. It really does come back to noticing our thoughts. I'm going to be talking more about this actually on my TEDx talk. I'm doing another TEDx talk on the Saturday, the 22nd of October, in Doncaster, of all places. I don't think I've ever been there before, at the Cast Theatre. So really looking forward to that. And obviously, eventually, it will be online as well. So you know where to find me if you want to drop me a message. I had another really lovely message in the week from somebody who said they'd decided to just stop drinking. They listened to a whole bunch of podcasts, went back over the archives and listened to lots more and just thought, oh, now is as good a time as any. And it really is. So if you're doing Sober October or if you're just starting out on this, keep going. This is literally the best thing you will ever do for your health and well-being. I think you've heard me say that a few times, right? Oh, and by the way, my book is only 99p on Kindle, I think. Yeah, on Amazon Kindle. Happy, Healthy, Sober. Yeah, so, 99p, what's not to like? I'll see you same time next week. You know where to find me, at Janey Lee Grace. Thank you for listening to the Alcohol Free Life podcast, brought to you by the Sober Club. Please rate and review. And if you want support, accountability and inspiration, and you want to live your best life without the booze, check out thesoberclub.com.